What's up, everybody? Alex here. Welcome back to another video. Thanks for stopping by. Thread-ish response, because he kind of was like, I don't know if this is a thread or not, do whatever you want. But it's about who it is that's more important, and it's a really, really great thread idea, and I'm looking forward to it. But this is going out to my boy, Anthony, at Gambler812. That's Gambler spelled with no vowels, so GMBLR 812. Out there in Boston, who, by the time I post this video, I'll probably be like meeting him and hanging out with him. But at the time of recording this video, I will be seeing him in 2 days. And we've been talking about what a bro fest that's going to be. So you might as well, instead of Anthony and Alex, just call us Brad and Chad with the type of nonsense that we're going to get into. But the point is he put out a great video a couple weeks ago that was kind of like, it's not really an official thread, but, do a video like this if you want to. And of course, I will totally oblige with that because he's awesome and this is an awesome idea. But basically the idea is like, show some artists or albums or genres or whatever that would surprise people in your collection. Like that they would like surprise that, like, wait, like Anthony listens to that, like, Ben listens to that, whatever that is. And so I thought this was a cool idea. And again, another cool way to show some records in my collection that might not get shown a ton. If you know me and you watch my videos, you know that I pretty much cut my teeth on old school classic rock, hard rock, big prog guy, some metal, but typically don't go any heavier than like thrash metal or something like that, although I'll talk a little bit about the asterisk there. And then like maybe some current stuff. I am a jazz guy, all that type of stuff. So I do think I'm into a little bit of everything, but I also recognize that that's not even true. And that's just something that people say. Like, I'm not into country, so I'm not going to say I'm into everything because I'm not into country or I'm not into classical or that kind of stuff. So regardless, rambles aside, here are three, well, I'll say genres that I really like, that people would maybe be surprised by. And then I'll show a couple records within those genres that I really love. So I said before, I am a jazz guy, but here's the thing. There's two types of jazz that I really just don't get into. It's not like I dislike them. It's not like I want to turn off. It's just not my jam. And that's like big band swing stuff. I'm like, whatever. And then male vocalists. I'm not crazy about male vocalists. Unless it's like Nat King Cole doing Christmas tunes. That's when I'm into male vocalists, and that's when it's Christmas tunes. But just like standard, like Johnny Hartman type stuff, it's not really my thing. But what I do love, and one of my favorite genres to listen to, is female jazz vocalists. People like Billie Holiday. This was one of my first Vinyl Me Please issues I got a couple years ago. And, I'll save that for a different video. But Billie Holiday, this is Lady Sings the Blues. For me, this is like the perfect Sunday morning, summer, spring day, windows open, just put you in a vibe, drinking that coffee. Speaking of coffee, how about Black Coffee, Peggy Lee, 1956. I think the original recordings of this were 1953 on a 10-inch, and then it was moved to the 12-inch LP in 56. This is an original on Decca. But that type of stuff I love. And of course, you can never go wrong. You talk about female jazz vocalists. I don't know that it gets better than Ella, man. So it's like, this is the sweet spot for me. I love this type of stuff. You want to theme it out and throw it in some holiday music or something, even better, cool. But for me, I love these records. So Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Peggy Lee. If y'all don't know this record, this is an amazing record. Acoustic Sounds did like a reissue of it. That sounds incredible. This is an original I have, but man, like it's Black Coffee with Peggy Lee, man. I mean, look at that cover. It's like, this is what it sounds like when you're listening to it. Absolutely freaking outstanding. So that first thing that might be a little bit surprising is that female jazz vocal. The second thing that's going to be pretty surprising to you, because I don't show any of it, is, again, I don't show it a whole lot, so it probably won't, surprise you. But no, mister, I'm not really a huge, rap fan or hip hop fan or anything like that, with a slight asterisk. For whatever reason, I don't know if it was like where I grew up or just the type of how the style has changed over the last 30 years. But the hip hop that I do like is that old school late 80s into the early 90s. So we're talking Tupac, we're talking Biggie, we're talking about Wu-Tang Clan, we're talking A Tribe Called Quest. Like, we're talking those types of groups. But by far my favorite was the group that, for me, was able to just merge this, like, I don't know, this obviously this hip hop, these bars, these lines with R&B, with vocals, with harmonies, with ballads. And it does fucking help that their reign is from Cleveland, Ohio. My favorite is Bone Thugs and Harmony. I fucking love Bone Thugs and Harmony. This is their EP, which I guess was like their second release. This came out in 1994, I believe. Creeping on a Come Up. This was released for Record Store Day back in, I don't know, but this was maybe 2020. This might have been the first like COVID Record Store Day. And this might have been my first Record Store Day period. But you can tell by, what a great generic Record Store Day hype sticker that is. Banging. It is individually numbered. This is 3010 out of 4000 numbered. I think this is still a pretty collectible thing because I don't know that this saw another reissue outside of this, and so the only way you can get it would be like the original from 1994 or whatever. And so this is amazing. The big hit from this one was Thuggish Ruggish Bone. What a banger that is. I love that song. But that was sort of the precursor for their huge release. And I was so happy when Vinyl Please did this. Y'all want to be talking that shit about Vinyl Please, but to me, when they announced this, I was in it to win it. I was waiting for a repress of this forever. It was on my want list, like originals, and I was willing to pay like hundreds of dollars for it. Not really, but But when they announced this, I was stoked. And that's that sort of banger. E1999, The Internal. Man, so again, this was great. This is a double here. If this has got some great wax on it, I'm not going to take it out because it's kind of a pain in the ass on these records. But this is perfect 90s heavy hip hop, but R&B. You probably, even if you don't know Bone Thugs, you probably know the song "The Crossroads." That was off this, a huge hit. Again, it's a ballad. It's harmonies for days. It's almost more. The Crossroads leans more Boys to Men than it does like Biggie, right? So that to me was always a great mix that I loved that they were able to do. I don't think other people have been able to do that. That's a great cover, by the way. You see that? Vinyl Please did a great job with this release. I'm all in on Bone Thugs. I think they're absolutely amazing. But a lot of people wouldn't know that I'm into Bone Thugs. How about that? Last one here. I might have shown some of these before. But I do introduce this because, like I said before in the intro, I typically don't go heavier when it comes to like metal music than either thrash or like prog metal, which obviously includes some of that stuff. Here are two progressive metal acts that more tiptoe into like extreme metal. So I don't call, Metallica or Megadeth extreme metal. I don't call Dream Theater extreme metal or anything like that. But these two groups, one leaning heavily into death metal, and the other leaning heavily into some metalcore and that type of stuff. But the short story here was that I saw Dream Theater back in 2009, I believe, on their first Progressive Nation tour. So basically, it was Mike Portnoy at the time. He put together these 3 or 4 prog bands to tour with Dream Theater. From sort of across the gambit of progressive rock, some really heavy stuff, some not so heavy stuff. But the first band that I saw that blew me away, even though it was like this man running around like screaming his eyeballs out, was Between the Buried and Me. And they were supporting this record, Colors, which is still historically kind of known as like their peak, their masterpiece, and they've put out a lot of masterpieces. Kind of cool craft in the metal world doing these reissues too. So 2007, I believe this came out. But this is, Between the Buried and Me is unlike any band I can explain. The way they are able to go in and out of musical styles and genres, from the gutturals to the death growls to the screamo to the metalcore to the circus music to the jazz to everything. They are the best at what they do in this world. And I saw this band and they absolutely blew me away. And that was well before I could even deal with the vocals. The second band, funny enough, I didn't really even like them at the time. Later, I've grown to love them. But this is pretty much as deep as I go currently in what I own with death metal. At this point in the game, I always point to this as the perfect starting point because they got away from the death metal vocals, so they're not doing the growls anymore. Now, and God, over the past 10, 15 years, they've been pretty much a standard progressive hard rock band. But at this time, they were perfectly and firmly in this balance of the death metal growls of the past, heavy riffage, all that good stuff that was going on, and mixing in all that new influence of progressive rock. And I'm talking about the great Opeth, of course, from Sweden. God, I hope they're from Sweden. Denmark, Sweden, Norway? They gotta be from Sweden. Anyway, it doesn't matter. First of all, great cover. All their covers are amazing, super creepy. But this is Watershed. This came out around the same time. They were doing some touring from that too. So 2008, I believe this one came out. Amazing. I mean, you get some of the most in-your-face death metal blistering type stuff surrounded by some like almost more acoustic, dare I say, like Jethro Tull influence type music going on as well. So yeah, absolutely killer. That's pretty much as close as I go into death metal world. That's not to say I don't like death metal now, because this to me was a great sort of a bridge to getting into more death metal. So there you go, Anthony. Hope you loved that. Hope you all also enjoyed it. Thanks for doing this, man. If people want to jump on the thread, just make sure you give a shout out to Anthony. He is the man. That's Gambler812. That's Gambler with no vowels, 812. And he's the man. We'll see you soon, brother, if I haven't already. And take care, y'all. Cheers. Bye.